Listen closely, my friends. Somewhere today, someone is going to say something designed to knock you off balance, a comment that stings, a tone that disrespects you in front of people who matter, a silence that feels like a slap. And in the 2 seconds after it lands, you will make a decision that determines whether that person just won or whether they just met someone they can never touch again. Most people lose that 2 seconds without ever realizing they had a choice in it at all. They react, they defend, they replay the moment for 3 days afterward, rehearsing the perfect comeback they didn't think of in time. But there is a smaller, rarer group of people who feel the provocation land and simply do not move. Not because they're cold, not because they don't feel it, because somewhere along the way they built something inside themselves that provocation cannot reach. I'm going to hand you 7 rules the Stoics actually lived by to become that person. Not comebacks, not tricks, structural changes to the way your mind responds to attack. Stay until the end, because the 7th rule is the one that makes a person genuinely impossible to provoke. And almost nobody practices it because it requires giving up something most people are not willing to give up. Welcome back to Accent Stoic, the place where ancient philosophy meets the real battles of modern life. If you're new here, this channel exists to take the hardest-earned wisdom of men like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca and turn it into something you can actually use the next time someone tries to get under your skin. If that sounds like something you need, subscribe now, because what you're about to hear will change how you walk into every difficult room for the rest of your life. Let's begin. Rule 1. Understand that the provocation was never about you. We talk about how to respond to provocation. We have to correct something almost everyone gets backwards. You have been treating insults as information about you. They are not. They are information about the person delivering them. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself every morning before the demands of empire began that he would meet the ungrateful, the arrogant, the deceitful, and the envious that day. Not because he expected the worst from every person, but because he understood something crucial. Cruelty is a symptom, not a verdict. When someone goes out of their way to provoke you, they are not delivering a measured judgment of your worth. They are showing you, in real time, the exact condition of their own internal world. Time someone truly tried to provoke you. Were they at peace with themselves in that moment? Almost never. People who are genuinely secure rarely feel the need to destabilize someone else. Provocation is nearly always a symptom of the provoker's own unresolved pressure looking for somewhere else to go. This does not excuse cruelty, it simply relocates it. The moment you understand that an insult describes the insulter far more accurately than it describes you, it loses the ability to land as a verdict. It becomes data instead of a wound. And data does not need to be defended against, it only needs to be observed. Rule 2. Build the gap between stimulus and response. Epictetus opened his entire philosophy with a single foundational idea. Some things are in our control and some things are not. The words someone throws at you are not in your control. Your response is entirely, completely yours and yours alone. But here is what most people miss. That control does not activate automatically. It only exists inside a gap, a small window of time between the moment the provocation lands and the moment you speak or act. Most people have trained that gap down to nearly zero. They react before they've had a single conscious thought about it. The Stoics trained themselves to protect that gap deliberately. Marcus Aurelius, surrounded constantly by senators baiting him, generals testing him, and philosophers challenging him in public, was known for pausing before he spoke. Sometimes he did not speak at all. That pause was not hesitation, it was discipline. It gave his reason time to catch up to his impulse. Build this practically. The next time you feel a provocation land, the heat in your chest, the tightening in your jaw. Count to 3 in your head before you do anything. Not to suppress the feeling, to let it pass through you before it dictates your action. 3 seconds feels unbearably long the first few times you practice it. That discomfort is the exact muscle you are training. Rule 3. Remove your expectation that people will behave well. A significant amount of the sting in provocation comes not from the provocation itself, but from your own surprise that it happened. You expected respect, and you got contempt instead. And the gap between those two things is where the real pain lives. Stoics practiced something called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. Before difficult situations, they would spend a few minutes imagining what could go wrong, not to become anxious, but to mentally rehearse difficulty so that if it arrived at a mind that had already met it once before. Marcus Aurelius did this every single morning as emperor, reminding himself that he would likely encounter meddling, arrogant, and dishonest people that day, not because he expected the worst from everyone, but so that when it happened, he would not be shocked into anger by behavior that is, frankly, an ordinary part of being human among other humans. If you drop your expectation that every interaction will be respectful, you are not becoming pessimistic. You are becoming prepared, and a prepared mind does not get ambushed. It simply registers what it already anticipated and moves forward without the added cost of shock. This before any interaction that carries a real chance of disrespect, a difficult meeting, a tense family gathering, a conversation you've been dreading. Spend 30 seconds asking yourself, what's the worst realistic version of what they might say, and how would I respond if it happened? You will walk in steadier because some part of you has already been there. If any of this is landing so far, drop the word prepared in the comments. I want to know how many of you are building this armor with me tonight. Rule 4. Stop handing them a map to your buttons. Every time you react immediately and visibly to a provocation, you are doing something you probably haven't considered. You are teaching the person exactly which words work on you. You are handing them a map drawn in your own reaction, showing them precisely where to press next time. People are predictable, and predictable people are controllable. This is not a moral failing. It's simply mechanics. The person pulling the strings does not have to work hard if you keep confirming over and over exactly which strings to pull. Marcus Aurelius understood this with total clarity. As emperor, he was tested constantly by rivals with hidden agendas. His response was devastating precisely because of how simple it was. He did not react. He wrote that the best revenge is to be unlike the one who performed the injustice. He didn't need to argue back or defend himself. He let his composure speak for him, and in doing so, he gave his rivals nothing to work with. Here is the practical shift. The next time someone provokes you, notice the urge to immediately prove them wrong, defend your position, or match their tone. That urge is the map being drawn. Withhold it. Not out of passivity, but out of strategy. A person who reveals nothing cannot be manipulated because manipulation requires a visible lever, and you have just removed every lever they could see. Rule 5. Separate what you can control from what you cannot. Nearly everything that makes provocation feel unbearable comes down to a single confusion. Treating something that is not yours to control as though it were. You cannot control whether someone respects you, whether they apologize, whether they ever admit they were wrong, or whether a room full of witnesses sides with you in the moment. Epictetus built his entire philosophy on this exact distinction. Our judgments, our effort, our own conduct, these are ours. Other people's opinions, their behavior, the outcome of a confrontation you've already handled as well as you can, these are not ours, no matter how much we obsess over them. Here is what this looks like in the middle of a provocation. Someone insults you in front of colleagues. You cannot control whether they apologize. You cannot control whether your colleagues privately agree with the insult or dismiss it. What you can control is your own conduct in that exact moment, your tone, your composure, your choice not to escalate. Pour everything into that. The moment your effort ends, release your grip on the rest. This is not resignation. It is the most efficient possible use of your limited energy. Every ounce spent trying to control someone else's opinion of you is an ounce stolen from the only thing that was ever actually yours to direct: your own response. Rule 6. Practice the response before you need it. Nobody becomes unprovocable by accident, and nobody becomes unprovocable in the middle of the provocation itself. This is built in the quiet, unremarkable moments long before the real test arrives. The same way a soldier drills before battle, not during it. Seneca wrote extensively to his friend Lucilius about the value of rehearsing difficult moments in advance, mentally walking through the confrontation you're dreading before it happens, so that when it does happen, it is not new territory, it is familiar ground. Here is a specific practice. Tonight, before you sleep, think of the person in your life most likely to provoke you. The colleague, the relative, the old friend who always seems to know exactly what to say. Picture the exact words they're likely to use. Then picture yourself receiving those words with total composure, a slight pause, a level voice, no defensive scramble. Walk through it in your mind as vividly as you can. This is not wishful thinking, it is rehearsal. By the time the real moment arrives, some part of your mind will recognize it, because you've already been there once in imagination, on your own terms, without the pressure of an actual audience watching. We are past the halfway point now. Everything from here gets more demanding, because true composure is rarer the closer you get to genuinely testing it. If you're still with me, that already tells me something about you. Drop the number of the rule that's challenged you the most so far. I read every comment. Rule 7. Give up the need to win. Here is the rule I promised you at the beginning, the one that makes a person genuinely, permanently impossible to provoke, and the one almost nobody practices because it requires giving something up that most people are not willing to release: the need to win the exchange. Think about what winning a provocation actually means to most people. It means having the last word. It means the other person visibly backing down. It means witnesses walking away, agreeing that you were right and they were wrong. But chasing that outcome means your peace now depends entirely on someone else's behavior, on whether they concede, on whether the room sides with you, on an outcome you were never able to control in the first place. Marcus Aurelius, ruling an empire, facing plots against his life, wrote to himself constantly that the goal was never to defeat other people. The goal was to maintain his own tranquility, regardless of the chaos surrounding him. He understood something that most people spend a lifetime never learning. Winning an argument and losing your peace is not a victory. It is a trade you made against yourself. Here is the uncomfortable truth about this final rule. The moment you genuinely stop needing to win, provocation loses its entire mechanism. A person trying to provoke you is looking for a specific transaction: your anger, your defensiveness, your scrambling justification. That is the currency they are fishing for. The instant you no longer need anything from the exchange, not even the satisfaction of being seen as right, there is nothing left for them to take. This is not passivity. It is the single most active, most disciplined choice available to you in the moment of provocation, choosing your own tranquility over the temporary, hollow satisfaction of winning. Say this to yourself the next time provocation lands, silently if you need to. I don't need to win this. I only need to keep my peace. Let them think whatever they want to think about the outcome. It does not matter, because you left that interaction with the only thing that was ever actually at stake: your own composure, fully intact. Bringing it together. Let's put all 7 rules together because they work best as a single system, not 7 separate tricks. Understand that provocation describes the provoker, not you. Build the gap between what happens and how you respond. Remove your expectation that people will always behave well, so you're never ambushed by ordinary human behavior. Stop reacting visibly because every reaction hands over a map to your buttons. Separate what's actually yours to control from what never was. Rehearse your composure before you need it, the way a soldier drills before battle. And finally, give up the need to win, because that single release is what makes every other rule permanent instead of situational. None of these rules require you to become cold, distant, or emotionless. Stoicism was never about suppressing what you feel. It was about refusing to let what you feel dictate what you do. You are allowed to feel the sting of an insult fully and for exactly as long as you need to. What you are not required to do is hand your peace over to the person who caused it. Marcus Aurelius did not become unshakable in a single afternoon. He practiced this every single morning in a private journal never meant for anyone else's eyes, because even an emperor with the resources of an empire behind him had to build this skill one difficult day at a time. You have exactly the same opportunity starting today. Pick one of these 7 rules, not all of them, one. The one that made you pause somewhere in this video. Practice it deliberately the next time someone tries to provoke you this week, and notice, really notice, what shifts when the provocation lands and you simply do not move. If this video gave you something real tonight, hit that like button before you go. It costs you nothing, and it tells this channel to keep making exactly this kind of content. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Axin Stoic, because this is the work we do here every single week. Philosophy that has survived 2,000 years because it was never dependent on your circumstances or anyone else's behavior in the first place. Tell me in the comments which rule you're starting with. I read every single one, and I genuinely like to know which version of provocation you're finally ready to become immune to. Until next time, stay grounded, stay composed, and remember, the person who needs nothing from the exchange can never be provoked by it.